It's time for the BAQA. The BAQA. What you say? The BAQA with Mandi. The BAQA with Tiffany. The BAQA with the guest. It is Brown Ambition question and answer. You have questions, we have answers-ish, because we're not your mama. We're not your financial advisor. We're not your attorney. We're not your accountant. We are just two smart brown girls who know a little thing or two about personal finance, business, entrepreneurship, and some other things too. We have hot seat. You guys have liked it so much. We said, let's invite some more Brown Ambition guests. So we have Leah in studio.
Hey, Leah.
Hi.
Welcome to BA.
Thank you for having me.
Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm from Dallas, Texas. Well, I'm from San Antonio. I live in Dallas for the last 8 years. I am a registered nurse. I have a 2-year-old little baby. So he was born right around the time that Rio was born. I do have 2 small businesses, baby businesses, very baby businesses. And I'm just out here living. So,
Okay.
Oh, amazing.
That's a little about me.
Go ahead, ask your question.
So what's your question about? Yeah, tell us.
So, I guess a little bit extra background. I'm also in the Army Reserve. And so I kind of have like a part-time job. So I have my main registered nurse job, organization I love. They provide great benefits, maternity leave, all that good stuff. And they actually are just rolling out like a new program to improve a lot of that stuff. So great benefits for my full-time job that I do love Monday through Friday. I'm a reservist that provides my benefits as far as medical, health, all of that kind of stuff. So those 2 things are taken care of from there. And then I have my businesses. So I have a boys clothing line that's just like my hobby business. When I had a little boy, there's no clothes. I wanted to provide that for people. So that's just kind of like my fun business. But I do have another business solutions agency that I'm starting. And that is the one that I would like to eventually make my full-time career as far as entrepreneurship. And so I'm thinking out, it's not something that I'm obviously ready to just quit my job and leave right now. But I am kind of thinking about that transition period. I do take care of my son by myself. So it's very important to me that I have like the stability and everything, and I don't just up and leave. I know that with the Army Reserve, that takes care of the medical benefits and stuff, which gives me that peace of mind. But I guess my question is just twofold, kind of how do I come up with a good work plan as far as the entrepreneurship side of slowly being able to grow my business, but effectively running it? Kind of how do you organize yourself, organize your thoughts, things like that. And then on the other hand, what things do I think about? Because I know in the future that I am going to want to transition. What other things am I missing while I'm thinking about benefits, things like that?
Okay. Tell me what the business solutions business is. What is that?
So
consulting?
We kind of provide just the goal of it is to provide different resources for small business owners. So kind of virtual assistance meets consulting, but I am not I don't have a business background. So my goal is just to really provide education and resources to people that are wanting to start their own businesses, specifically Black and Brown people, because where I work, a lot of our patients and things like that, they don't have access to these different resources in the communities. They may not be able to go to college. They may not know that entrepreneurship is an option, and they may not be able to go to business school to find out that information. But maybe some sort of resources that we can provide that's like, hey, here is what I'm working on now is like a business startup checklist. Like these are things you don't need to learn in school. These are things that you can find resources for free to low cost resources. And here you go. And then in starting that business, hey, we also provide support for administrative services to small businesses that are just starting up. We provide social media management. I know in this day and age, everybody wants like high ticket clients and they want to do these big high ticket packages and things like that. And that's not really my goal. My goal is to provide as many cost-effective resources to small business owners with the hopes that we can build businesses within our communities that offer jobs for other people that look like us.
So you're like the support staff, you're the woman behind the woman.
Yeah, basically. Yes.
Yeah. I love that idea because, virtual assistants are, I feel like, one of the easiest, obviously it's not an easy job, but I mean, in terms of the demand for it is so high, because look at all these online entrepreneurs that have sprung up since the pandemic.
Yes.
And I mean, I already have 2 virtual assistants, and, it is one of the first lines of defense for new business owners to hire some administrative support. And I think one of the smartest first hires you can make. So I think that there's like tons of potential there.
Yes.
And for anyone listening who's thinking about, I want to start like my own business. I'm like, hey, virtual assistants, like get some, come on, like where we need y'all. Come find us.
And honestly, it's probably the number one thing my entrepreneur friends, high, low, in the middle, just started, been in business for a while. It's one of the first things they ask me, girl, do you know I can find a virtual assistant? So when I got excited, Leah, when you said that, because you are not going to have a lack of clients. So a few things to consider, like, because you have this job. So you're like, 1 foot in, 1 foot kind of like out. Considering how much, you got to get down to brass tacks about like your budget, right? How much money do you need to make to support your current lifestyle? And so, we hopefully we all understand net versus growth, net versus gross, meaning you might say, although I'm just making up numbers for you, 70,000 as a nurse, I really take home 50. So I would need to make at least 50. And so that's not 50 gross business, because after taxes, after paying expenses and operational things, maybe 50 really is 25, so you would have to get clear on your numbers. How much do I need to actually take home in order to maintain my lifestyle for me and my son? And so, you set that as a goal for being able to say, okay, when I get within range of this is when I can just consider taking a leap. That's one thing. It's like, how much do I need to make? 2, are there things you can do to cut back on expenses? So normally I'm not a big old cut back person. I know people think I'm the budgetnista. I am. No, but when you are starting a business, it's really in your best interest to lean out a little bit, because you want some runway, meaning that your business might take a little time to get up and running. And so you don't want to squander any money on unnecessaries while you're figuring out your business. So let's just say your life is you live off of 50, but you could live off of 40. So it's like, okay, let's live off of 40 for the next few months to see as I make this transition into having my own business full time, it gives me more runway. So if I don't have a really great month or whatever, there's some space there. I would be joining different online communities. So one that I always talk about it.
Yes, I joined them.
It's like build it. Good. I was going to say that's a really great space. Because one, you're going to find people. There's going to be so many entrepreneurs in there who need executive admins, but then also 2, just getting your feet wet about what's normal, what's not normal, whatever. I have my mentor Tiffany.com, where I mentor Black women in business, because you want to normalize what business kind of looks like by getting in the mix with other women in business. The good thing is that after our mentorship meetup, I'm going to create a doc that you guys can put all your information so you can connect with each other, because it's going to be really important. But anything Mandi, because you just made this transition, what are some things you were like, oh, wish I would have known,
Well, I think the first thing that you said was the first thing that I did, which was talk with my financial planner, and she gave me my monthly income number. It was 10,000. And I was like, okay, bet. Now, I started off with a big cash fund. I had been saving for so long throughout my career that I had about 12 months worth of income set aside. And I felt, so I had some comfort in that. I'm wondering, now I'm not saying every entrepreneur needs that. I just happen to have had it. And believe me, it ain't there anymore, because it's been 2 years and life is expensive. But anyway, so is there, like Tiffany said, as you're cutting back, if you're cutting back, can you start stockpiling and beefing up your savings, because, you are going to be your own boss in that way, your own employer. And then for me, my concern or my question is, as you're scaling the business and starting the business, it sounds like you're going to be more than just yourself, because as great the virtual assistant space is and how much we need it, it's like high touch, you're going to be in the weeds with entrepreneurs. So I'm wondering, how can you structure it so that you have the support that you need? You can take on more clients, but not I can't imagine what it would be like for you to be trying to juggle as many clients that you would need to juggle to get to that, that big number that you would need, your monthly income number. So maybe you create that monthly income number and then you back into it. Okay, so how much could I charge an hour, or how many packages could I create? I'm not going to say if I would go back, I would do it this way, because I think I like that I started out my business offering free coaching and then paid coaching. It was a focus group for me. It was learning the market. It was understanding what my clients needed, what women needed, what they were asking for. So then I could build the Mandi Moneymakers into the thing that they all wanted to solve all their pain points. But now I spent that like a year and a half doing that. And now I'm creating prepackaged things, on-demand things like products and services that don't require me to be there live. So as you're thinking of moving forward, what are some solutions that you can provide business owners that don't require your time? You can do it once and then package and sell it, so that can be one of your income streams other than having like one-on-one client work, because that of course can become really demanding.
Yeah. Right now, my biggest project is rolling out like some sort of a booklet, ebook kind of a thing, resource guide. Whereas when I make it,
little lead magnet.
Yes. But right now I have the checklist. That's kind of the lead magnet.
Very smart.
And then the book is going to be kind of more in depth from the checklist. And so that will be for a low cost, like maybe like $20 or something, but kind of get that income going, and then also be able to still help for a good, not super expensive cost. But once I write it once, I don't need to continue to write it. And some people just want a guide. And so those people can just have a guide and they don't need me to do that.
So just as you don't be afraid to really lean in and niche into what your specific expertise is. I think that the temptation for many new entrepreneurs, so many of us, is that we do all the things. Mm-hmm. Right? I do this, or do this, I do this. Or even if you're good at a lot of things, right? Because me and Mandi, we had this chat the other day and we were like, I'm really good at this, and this. And I was just like, okay, well, these are all things. I'm not saying you won't get to those things, but what's the core thing you can focus on right now that's really going to connect with your audience? And so making sure to don't be afraid to niche down and say, you know what, although I have this bigger, broader idea, I'm going to lean into getting people admins and executive assistants, because that's something that, like I told you, like if you type in admin or executive assistant into the Arsha's group, you're going to see that over and over and over and over. And so there's nothing wrong with saying, what's the fastest way to get my business up and running, by leaning into this core thing and then expanding later. Because oftentimes people are like, no, but I'm good at so many things. There are still some things that, I know that I'm good at that I haven't even gotten to yet, through my business. And I'm just like, maybe in 2 years I'll roll that other thing out. And, so don't be afraid to to get really granular and be like, okay, this is my opening. Because you don't want to be what I call buffet business. You really want to be focused on a specific thing that you're going to deliver and to build trust with that thing first and foremost. Okay. But ultimately, the best way to get better at business is just to do it, to acknowledge you're going to make a bunch of mistakes, to ask questions, to get back up and do it again. And so the fact that you're asking these questions, that's great. Put one foot out there and just, get to the business of doing, and then learn the lessons and then do it again, and then learn the lessons and do it again. Anything else, Mandi? Any last parting words for Leah?
Yes. My last parting word is, even if, let's say I think your worst case scenario is that you launch your own business, you end up walking away from your stable job and healthcare and all of that. And let's say the business goes belly up and you're bankrupt. You still have all the skills. You can't take away your nursing knowledge. You can go back and find 9-to-5 work. I think that's the fear. And I just want to say, like Tiffany reminds me, she's like, you're going to be okay. What's the thing you always tell me, Tiff?
I was like, you're smart. You work with integrity.
You're integrity. Yes.
You work hard. You're going to make money. You're going to make money.
Yeah,
you are. You will.
Part.
It might take a little time, but you will. I promise you. You're smart. You work hard. You're consistent. You work with integrity. You will make money. Maybe not right away, but you will. So we wish you luck, Leah.
Thank you.
Luck. We congratulate you in advance. If you want to be in the hot seat and ask Mandi and I questions about business, entrepreneurship, personal finance, and otherwise, we invite you into our Instagram DMs. Leave us a voice note with your question, and maybe we'll have you virtually in the studio, in the stew. Hey, BA fam, we're on YouTube. Woohoo! Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
And while you're at it, why don't you go over to that little bell icon and just tap that for us. Show the BA fam how much you love us. And that way you'll also get notifications when new videos drop. Also, share the channel with a friend. We're always like, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And thank y'all so much again for all the support.